Here we have brothy beans. Oh my God, that is melt in the mouth, nectar-like, rich bean stock. It is completely delicious. A bowl of bean nirvana, really. We are making brothy beans with dried queen butter beans. I love making beans from scratch. It's like a really gorgeous ritual, something you can have bubbling away in the background, but also because you're able to season the beans with aromatics throughout the cook. It creates this incredible broth, which really does take you to next level bean broth territory. So first things first, I'm just gonna chuck a load of water in here. Just make sure they're well and truly covered, so that they're gonna absorb loads of that water and become almost double in size. Right, let's leave these overnight and see how they look in the morning. So it's the next morning and we have soaked these beans overnight, and as you'll notice, they have doubled in size. It's amazing. The next step is to get rid of this soaking liquor. A lot of the time when you're having canned beans, if they've been cooked in their soaking liquor, it will give you horrible indigestion issues. That's why our beans don't have an issue, because we remove that liquor. So now that we've soaked and rinsed the beans, got rid of all of that cooking liquor, we're gonna get our aromatics going, which are fundamental to the brothy beans. You've gotta get your hob getting hot, and you're gonna put in quite a lot of olive oil. Fat equals flavor, so don't hold back. So while that is heating up, we're just gonna prep some of the aromatics. So I've got an onion here, you could have a shallot, whatever you have, and I've got a whole bulb of garlic. So we're just gonna put these cut side down and wait 15 minutes for them to caramelize in the olive oil. So now I can see it's caramelized a little bit. This is the time when we add the beans. So I'm just stirring the beans to coat them in the oil, making sure they've all got a little bit of coating, and then gonna add some herbs. Add whatever you have. I've got some sage here, some rosemary, some thyme, but if you only have thyme, it's all good. Just customize based on what you have available. Now you're gonna add your water or stock. So I'm just gonna pour this in. I'm also gonna add a Parmesan rind. I always keep these because they are like little umami bombs that whenever you're making a soup or a stew, you want all of that to go into the broth, and this is the perfect situation to honor that. The stock is salty, but we need a lot of salt for this dish, so don't hold back. So now I'm gonna bring that to a boil and then reduce to a simmer. And I've got fresh beans. They are really the best. So they're from last year's harvest, which means it will only take me about an hour. And I really recommend fresh beans if you can get your hands on them. They taste so much better, thinner skins, creamier, and just tender melt in the mouth. So now that's come to a boil, I'm gonna move that to the back hob and just let it simmer away gently for an hour. There's nothing nicer than having a pot of beans simmering away in your kitchen. So the beans have been cooking for about 40 minutes now, so I'm just checking on them, making sure they've got enough water. At this point, you might need to top up. I don't. The beans have now been cooking for about an hour and 20 minutes, so I'm just gonna give them a taste to see if they're ready. Just take one out. Oh my God, that is melt in the mouth. Like, the flavor has gone all over the bean. It's incredible and perfectly cooked. So I'm gonna turn that off. The next stage is to get rid of the herbs, the onions, anything that isn't beans and broth. What is the most magical thing about cooking from scratch is all of the flavors that have gone into the broth. You can see that the broth is rich and almost looks like a really intense beef stock. And it really is that good that you can serve it alone. We've just got some really simple garnishes here, and that's how we're gonna have the brothy beans. I don't think beans get much better than this. These queen butter beans are from the most recent harvest, so they're still really juicy and plump. They're so tender, and then the broth is really where the magic is in this dish. It's got this incredible delicate flavor that you just want to drink up. So in terms of toppings, I really like at this stage just to fold through some soft herbs. And also I've got a little bit of aioli here, a little added creaminess to swirl through. And then I've got some Parmesan. And finally, to add some crunch, because texture is key, just some crispy breadcrumbs. That is just incredible. Obviously, the cream butter beans are good, but the star of the show is actually the beanstalk. There's so much flavour in there and all of the aromatics, and it just turns into this kind of golden liquid that I, to be honest, can't get enough of. I'm just gonna have some by itself.